Hey there, here to help you with your opposite absolute value equation. Now, I hate to, undermine the answer of another expert, but this is more correct of the two that you wrote because this would mean negative a positive number equals a positive number, and that's obviously very incorrect. But also, can an absolute value ever give you back a negative number? It cannot, because what is absolute value defined as? Absolute value is defined as the distance from 0 on a number line. It's not just, it doesn't just mean, well, it does just mean the positive version of the number you have inside your absolute value signs, but this is the definition. Distance from 0 on a number line. So if we draw a number line, let's say the absolute value of x is 5. Well, if I draw a number line, here's 0. Well, there's two different numbers that are going to give me an absolute value 5. So if I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'm going to end up at 5, and I'm also going to end up at negative 5. All right, so this is like obviously, I'm sure you've seen this in class before, and it tells us that, okay, the absolute value of x equals x if x is greater than or equal to 0. Now, if x is negative 5, the absolute value of negative 5 will be 5, right? What's the absolute value of negative 3? Well, that's going to be 3. Well, then what's the absolute value of negative x? It's going to be x. These two are the things that we need to remember. For your example, I'll just use a slightly different one. Let's say we have 2x plus 7, and the absolute value equals 13. Right? So when will this absolute value be equal to 13? Well, whatever's in here, 2x plus 7, needs to equal, there's two options. It can equal 13 or negative 13. Once we're at the phase of putting our absolute value into our two different equations, we don't even want to deal with the absolute value signs anymore. We just want to say, okay, this number inside the absolute value is the number 13, or it's the negative of it. If 2x plus 7 is 13, obviously the absolute value is 13, or if 2x plus 7 is negative 13, the absolute value is 13. So let's go ahead and finish that off. We get, I will deal with this one first. I'll subtract 7. 2x equals 6. And then we divide by 2 on both sides, and we get x equals 3. The other option, which I will go ahead and move these out of the way to do it here, is 2x plus 7 equals negative 13. Well, we can subtract 7 from both sides to get x by itself, and then 2x equals negative 20. We divide both sides by 2, and we get x equals negative 10. That's not the part you needed help with, though. For any absolute value equation, let's just make a new board. For any absolute value equation, we're just going to say whatever's in here, absolute value of let's just call it f of x, because it could be some crazy complicated thing, and you will see stuff like that in calculus if you take calculus, which you probably will. Most people do. Some people don't, though, and that's all right. The absolute value of f of x equals y. Sorry, let's just write that number. The absolute value of x equals y. Of f of x equals y, then, well, f of x, whatever's in here, equals y will be our first equation, and whatever's in here equals negative y will be our second. So yeah, our first equation comes from just dropping the absolute value and letting it be itself, and the second one comes from dropping the absolute values and making what's inside equal to the opposite of the number you started with. Anyway, that's it. I hope this helped, and yeah, I hope you didn't think you were done with your homework either.